Back again for another video. On today's topic, we will be talking about being prepared and the difference between success and failure. What makes them different? This is my opinion, of course. So let's start it out with relationships. I've said many times that nobody goes into a relationship hoping that it fails. Now, everyone has their story, everyone has their situation, everyone has their circumstance. But nonetheless, all of these situations and circumstances in which there was failure of the relationship ended in failure. Now, there may not be any commonality in the circumstances that regarded that made the relationship fail or helped it to fail rather, but there is failure nonetheless. So what I want to talk about here is, like I said, of course, the success and failure of relationships and being prepared. These things tie into each other, in my opinion. I'm going to loosely tell the story of the ant and the grasshopper. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this story, but this is the way that I remember it. And there are virtues and circumstances that spoke to me in this story. So the story goes, it was springtime and the ant and the grasshopper appeared. And the ant understood that it had things to do, that it needed to gather resources in order to have things for the future. And in doing so, it worked tirelessly. Now, in the working of gathering these things, this mindset required a certain level of discipline, because while the ant was working, the grasshopper was leisurely enjoying the scenery, enjoying its time with the summer and the spring, and it wasn't doing much of anything but just enjoying life, right? While the ant once again was working tirelessly to gather resources that were necessary for its future survival, of course. So time goes on, and the grasshopper asked the ant, "Why are you doing all of this? What's the reason of why you're gathering all these resources?" And the ant replied, "It's because I need these resources for future things, for the things that are to come." And the grasshopper said, "Oh, this is silly, because you could be out here having a good time like I am, just enjoying life, right?" And the ant replied, "No, I choose not to do that because I understand that there are things that I need to do, and I'm going to do them. So I'm going to discipline myself to make sure that these things are accomplished." Once again, I'm telling this story very loosely. You guys may understand the story to be differently. And I'm very much paraphrasing the whole story. So just follow me. So the ant goes its way and the grasshopper goes its way. And the fall starts to set in. And the ant is still gathering things. But then a certain point comes where the ant starts to be scarcely seen, while the grasshopper is enjoying its life where it is, eating up things and going different places and seeing different things, hanging out with friends while the ant's working. But once again, like I said, the ant becomes scarcely seen. So the grasshopper goes to where the ant lives and he says, "Hey, I haven't seen you around in a little while. I guess you're taking a break." And the ant says, "Yes, I have gathered enough things, and now I can enjoy a little bit of free time." So the ant and the grasshopper become a decent enough amount of friends. And winter starts to set in. Now, this is after, the grasshopper and ant become friends. And the grasshopper goes about his way one day, and winter sets in. The ant's at home. And the grasshopper, once again, has such a familiar acquaintance with the ant that it felt comfortable enough to go to his house and say, "Hey, I need shelter. I need food. I need help." So the ant gives them just a little bit. And he said, "The rest that I have is for me to survive this winter that's here." And the grasshopper said, "I can't survive off just this." And the ant said, "Well, I cannot sacrifice myself for the things that you chose not to do." And of course, if you know the story well, the grasshopper doesn't make it through the winter, and the ant does. To live another day doing what it did in discipline in order to prepare for the next winter that comes. And of course, there was another grasshopper that popped up, and the story repeats itself. This story, to me, illustrates that there are people who are successful. Those people have longevity and success, and they are continued to do the things that they do out of discipline because they understand that it will elicit the longevity of their success living. Their success is not only themselves, the ant is not only representative of their success living through the harsh times, but it is also representative of the individual who is practicing the discipline in order for their success to thrive, even in harsh times. And of course, the grasshopper represents the ill preparation for things to come and the lack of discipline that was put on the back burner for instant gratification in a continuous stance, right? That led to an ultimate demise of that individual's success. Now, once again, I'm loosely telling his story, so don't quote me to the actual author of this story and say, "Oh, that's not how the story exactly went." But it shares some semblance to what the sentiments of the story is explaining. Now, how I'm relating this to relationships is because the relationship is the 4 seasons. You have the summer, you have the spring, you have the fall, and you have the harsh winter. Now, there are some of us who are ants, and there are some of us who are grasshoppers in this relationship. And what makes the difference is between who practices the discipline necessary in order to face the harsh winters of the relationship and who doesn't. There are certain things that you need in order to be successful in relationships. The people who are perpetually successful at relationships are the ones who understand that it takes discipline and practice to know what to gather for what's to come. Once again, I said it plenty of times in different videos. Nobody wants a relationship to end poorly. Nobody goes into the relationship hoping that the relationship ends. So what causes the relationship to end? Is it the love and care from the other individual? No, it's the problems that you encounter. But what makes the difference between a successful relationship and a failed relationship is, are we dealing with ants or are we dealing with grasshoppers? That makes the difference. Are we dealing with people who are preparing for the inevitable disagreements, the inevitable fights, the inevitable not seeing eye to eye, the inevitable misunderstandings? Or are we dealing with people who just want to enjoy having someone around, enjoying the leisure time, enjoying the pleasures of a relationship, enjoying the company of someone who you care about? Is that what you're doing in the relationship? Is that how you prepare for a relationship? Is that how you're going to overcome the problems of the relationship? Is that how you are going to be successful in the relationship? Now, I understand that one shouldn't spend their time focusing on preparing for problems that are to come in the relationship. But the issue that a lot of people have is that they don't even prepare for them at all. They just think that they have all the tools necessary, that they have all the answers that are waiting over the hill for answers to the problems that are waiting over the hill. But this is rarely the case for many. This is why relationships end and fail, is because people are ill prepared for the problems that come in relationships, the problems that they know are going to come in relationships. Like, I guess you can't predict exactly what will happen, but how you prepare for a problem in a relationship is doing the work of communication. It's doing the work of building a solid foundation with someone, having a good understanding of each other, and being able to communicate effectively, not just communicate, but effectively, and being able to take constructive criticism. There are a lot of things that you can do in order to practice the overcoming of problems in relationships. It's just that a lot of people are self-centered. They're more concerned about what pleases them, the instant gratification of the relationship. They practice no discipline in a relationship. They practice no forthcoming of the relationship, meaning that they know that things are coming, but they're not talking about, hey, I have this issue, or hey, what do you think about this scenario? And hey, how do you think that we should overcome this if this was to ever happen? No one really talks about those things. People are more concerned about, once again, just having somebody around. They like the novelty of relationships, but not the responsibility of relationships, because the responsibility of relationships is having the discipline enough to practice for what's to come. But anyways, like, comment, and share. Check me out on Facebook. Check me out on Patreon. But until next time, this has been the Wolf in Beta Clothes. May you have a good day, and peace be with you.